And one thing I love about this game is Vandy's not surprising anybody anymore. We all know what Vandy is, but I don't think Vandy cares.
It's Wednesday with an I, all right? We're out here trying to win. It's Picks Day here at Crain and Company. You know how it works. What are you doing? I already don't like what you're doing.
No, good, you're good. Go ahead.
I told you don't move your hands while I'm talking.
Why are you panicking? Do the intro.
I told you don't move your hands. Keep them by your sides. It's Picks Day here. We got a very special guest for you. If you're not subscribed, go. What are we doing? Come on, it's college football. Get with the program. Make sure you're locked in.
Grow up!
And while the slate may not be the sexiest, it's college football, and you'll be happy about it. Want to make sure. I've seen some people saying some things.
It's college football, so it is the sexiest.
There's levels of sexy when it comes to the matchups. We'll get into that, but as usual, David Cone, former Michigan quarterback, and a giant to my left, Blaine Crain, who at this point the hair underneath is growing back.
Natty blondes, dude.
I can start to see it. All right,
have more fun.
And his blonde brother looks like y'all are both going to try and kill Bruce Willis in a hotel.
Whatever happens.
Our buddy from On3’s Sports to make the picks today.
Come on, the Piccolo.
They call him JDP, but it's JD PicKell. JD, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
Let's go, boys.
You excited?
Dude, I'm fired up. We got strength of numbers here.
We do.
The blonde flow. I feel.
What's the
I
new
feel like
movie?
I got family.
Die Easy?
Yeah.
It's Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, but number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah.
It's called Two Dudes Living Life to the Fullest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just two dudes.
Two dudes, one game.
Two dudes living together.
Two dudes
picking
duding it
games.
up.
Baby.
Two dudes, one slate.
Yeah, I don't like where that's going.
Those are
all right.
Right.
I want to start off, again, this was probably, and David, I think you'll agree with me, the toughest week to pick 5 games to pick, because we try and do a mixture, obviously, of the biggest games and the biggest brands, but also the tightest spreads. And, I mean, next weekend is maybe the easiest one to pick, but there are some sneaky good games in here that could shift a lot when we're looking at who can make what.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's still going to be implications from this week. When you talk about Florida State and Miami, obviously that's one of the biggest ones in determining who can move forward and win that league. Florida State coming off the bewildering loss on the road at Virginia. But even like Baylor, Kansas State, does Baylor want to stay alive in the Big 12 and try and win that conference? Like, that's a big matchup. I know we're going to talk about Florida, Texas. Can Arch Manning go on the road, get a win against a team who really has their backs against the wall? What's going to be the situation with Billy Napier? So we're going to get a lot more data points, even though this slate may not look on paper like it did a week ago.
Yeah, and typically, and guys, I think we can all agree on this, it's the weekends where people don't think there's the best games, where the craziest stuff happens, and some of the underlying currents here, JD, and I want to ask you about kind of disappointments up to this point in college football. And I look at Kansas State and just the regression, and there's a bucket of kind of teams where we've seen this. But if you're Kansas State, you lose the opener in Ireland against Iowa State. Obviously, you've dropped a couple others. You did win last week, but if you go beat Baylor, I mean, you can kind of start to maybe turn this thing around when you look at who Kansas State plays at home that could affect the way this thing is.
Just get to November. That's my thing. Get to November, be in the dance. Like last year, we got to that month. And it felt like there was 18 teams in the Big 12 that could have won the conference. Like, we're doing quadratic formulas to figure out who, like, okay, so if Iowa State wins this game, Baylor wins this game, then that means Colorado could maybe here, there. Like, we were carrying ones to figure out who's going to play in Jerry World. So the Big 12 is going to be a bloodbath, I think, through this month. We'll get to November. Dust settles. Who's still alive? It's going to be a fun conference, man. I think Texas Tech could win that conference. Will win that conference, then eventually make some noise in the play. I think they are, like, real deal good. Not just for the Big 12. But to answer your question, Kansas State, bad vibes. Very bad vibes.
Yeah, and again, we talk about Avery Johnson and kind of and I think Matt Wells from a play calling sim hasn't been great either in what they've done. But, you know, Blaine.
What?
Again, you want to start that over?
Yeah, sure. What's up, man?
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, love you a lot. Disappointments in college football. Is it safe to say right now, going into week 6, that Clemson is the biggest disappointment because of where most people, I'm not going to say everybody, most people had them, and, you know, you're a 14-point favorite over North Carolina, but we could get 6 other guys in here and be a 3-point favorite against North Carolina with the personnel they have right now. But is Clemson the biggest disappointment in all of college?
I don't know how it's not. I mean, a lot of people had Clemson winning their national championship. 2, making it to the national championship, and 3, at least making the playoffs and definitely winning the ACC. It just doesn't make sense. Like, what really can you point your finger at? Is it because Dabo didn't go to the portal and get enough guys? I mean, you bring back Cade Klubnik, a Heisman favorite before the season started. You didn't bring back a true back, Antonio Williams. You had that one guy at wide receiver that you can count on, and you bring back all this talent on defense. And right now, going into week 6, you're a 13-point favorite, in my opinion, over the worst team in the ACC and North Carolina. Now, look, everybody can afford a bad year. I think you saw that with Mike Norvell last year and what they're doing this year, and Dabo Swinney has earned that. But I can't sit here and give you a logical reason to why, say, Clemson is this bad at football this year.
Well, I don't think you can blame the players or the transfer portal. Clemson's got the players.
Yeah.
Like, in years past, we've sat here and said, well, you know, where are the Nuke Hopkins? Where are the T. Higgins? Where are the Justin Rosses? Well, now, yeah, I know Antonio Williams is out, but you had young guys last year at the wide receiver position come through.
Williams
That's really
and Wesco are 2 damn good football players. Like, you have 2 legit.
I don't think Randall's a terrible back either.
No,
like, everybody's sitting here saying, I know he's kind of transitioned positionally, but David, I don't think you can blame the players for Clemson, but I want to move to kind of surprises. What's been the biggest surprise to you this season? Maybe it's a team that, for me, it's one of the teams we're going to pick. I think Mississippi State looks absolutely flip-flop from what they were in year 1, which is what you're supposed to do with a guy like Jeff Levy. Is there a team that has surprised you? Maybe it is Mississippi State, maybe it's somebody else.
I mean,
for the good.
Mississippi State's a play away from being 5-0 right now. How crazy is that? Yeah. That just speaks to the job that Jeff Levy's doing. But also, there's a handful of those teams. I mean, Missouri, Tennessee. I thought that South Carolina would have a chance to do what Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee are doing right now. But Tennessee particularly, just because it was such a weird situation the day before their spring game. Your starting quarterback who led you to the college football playoff quits on your team, decides that he wants to transfer out. We've talked ad nauseum about, was it him? Was it his father? Whatever. That's all in the past. But wants to leave the program. You go get Joey Aguilar, basically a college football trade. Mm-hmm. And we know that Joey had a lot of interceptions in his time at Appalachian State, but Josh Heupel won a lot of public favor by making this decision and not letting his quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, basically pressure him and leverage that program. And now you're better off. Like, how shocking is that? Because we said if Josh Heupel even goes 8-4, he could probably get away with that, or 7-5 because you didn't allow Nico to leverage you. Mm-hmm. You're better off with Nico. He's playing some of the best football in the country.
Well, I've actually got a theory on why I think Joey Aguilar looks so much different than he does at Appalachian State. And I want to make sure and be careful, because as somebody who's coached against App State multiple times at home and on the road, they always have quality players at some positions. I actually think, though, with Joey Aguilar, JD, before we get into these picks, that at Tennessee, because he is surrounded by so many good players, he doesn't feel like he has to go out there and do it all by himself. If you go watch him at App State, it felt like a guy that was like, all right, not that I'm saying my teammates are bad, but I've got to go out here and make incredible plays at an incredibly high rate for us to be able to win the games and score points. Now at Tennessee, it just looks like he's facilitating. Here we go. I don't have to go out there and be Superman. I don't have to be Batman. I just need to be a really, really good Robin. And I guess in some of the comic books, Robin becomes Batman at some point, and Joey Aguilar is starting to get there.
I think Robin has a couple of cover issues in some comics. I think like Robin gets some shine here. But what you said, I think, is on the money. Also, I think like the football personality of Joey Aguilar is such a better fit for Josh Heupel's offense in Tennessee than Nico's was. Because if you're a Tennessee fan last year, you're watching Nico and you're like, dude, just like let it rip, man. We got a guy open downfield, just like cut it loose. We're okay if you throw an extra pick here or there. Like, we want to see some explosives. And Joey Aguilar walks out there and he's like, shoot, Chris Brazzle down there.
Yeah, where's Chris Brazzle?
Yeah, let me cut it loose. Hey, who's Mike Matthews? You down there somewhere? Ball up top. Like, I think his overall, like, don't give a fudge factor he has playing quarterback, while at times can get you in trouble with the interception, I think it's healthy. I think it makes the Tennessee offense
Yeah, Joey Aguilar doesn't use his blinker when he turns.
No, he's just turning, man.
Nico does, though.
I'm turning.
Yeah.
Here we go.
No, Nico
sometimes he's got to whip it in.
Nico leaves the blinker on for 30 seconds.
Yeah, he'll put his hazards.
I had a buddy text me during the Tennessee game a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I'm going to start calling the Josh Heupel offense with Joey Aguilar the jackpot offense. Do you remember the game you used to play at recess where one guy had the ball and you'd sit at a group like 20, 30 yards and he'd throw it up and call out a number like, hey, 200. And if you caught the ball, you got 200 points. That's just, when I watched Tennessee, someone Joey Aguilar's like, hey, 7 and just throws it up to Brazel, who makes a play and scores a touchdown. So that's, you talk about trades, that looks like a winning trade for Tennessee. But let's start in the SEC. And boy, this matchup right now is not what we thought it was going to be preseason, with Texas going on the road to play Florida. Not that Texas, you know, some of us picked Ohio State to beat Texas. It's not like, oh, you go to lose at Ohio State with a new quarterback, somehow you're terrible. Still haven't been great offensively. We'll see if that changes. But going to Florida, who at this point has been an abject failure with Billy Napier and DJ Lagway. Yeah. I want to start with you, JD, but first, Blaine, can you give us the spread and can you give us the total in this?
Right now, the spread is -6.5 Texas. Yeah. Money line for Florida's gone off at +220. The over-under in this game is 41.5.
And it's gone down.
You would think it would be Iowa versus Rutgers.
There's 43.5 to start. And
it just keeps going down. Keeps going down.
And I still like the under.
I know. That's the truth. JD, where are you leaning on this one? How do you think it's going to go?
There's one part of this that I can't account for, which is what does the swamp bring here? Like we've seen really good players walk in there and look very mortal. I think if we saw a quarterback pop in this game, I would. If you told me someone's going to go for 250 in this game, someone's going to go for 300 in this game, I'd say, okay, it's probably DJ Lagway because we've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
But you talk about who you can call the game for more easily when it's going to probably be some rain. It's going to be, two good defenses, field position. Like, I like the Texas run game. I like Arch's legs. I think you can call a safer game with Arch, so I lean Texas for that reason.
I agree with you, and I think, David, this game may look a little like the Florida LSU game, where Florida's defense is keeping them in the game. Offensively, the other team isn't taking too many chances. But if it's going to come down to one of these offenses being able to score enough points, going up against two good defenses, you can say what you want about Florida. They got some players running around on defense that can do it. Even though Florida's at home, I've got to lean Texas because of the turnovers that we've seen. Not that Arch hadn't turned the ball over, but I think Sark can just dial up a couple more than Billy can on the offensive side. And maybe Texas not to cover. If it goes up to 7.5, I'll take Florida plus 7.5.
True.
But I like Texas to win this game because I just think they can make a couple more plays, and that's all it's going to take in this one.
Well, both defenses have been incredible. Remember, there was one point during those back-to-back losses for Florida where we said, okay, they're talking about firing Billy Napier. The defense has given up 2 touchdowns this season. And that's why that under number reflects that, because Texas's defense has been just as good. I've been saying that Texas is reverse Penn State. Penn State got to start off with Nevada, FIU, Villanova. Then they get their big test against Oregon and they lose that. Texas was the reverse of that. Well, we're going to open in Columbus, play the Buckeyes, lose by a touchdown, and then after that it's going to be San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. Those 2 programs right now, Penn State and Texas, have 0 combined wins over Power 4 opponents. What a great opportunity for Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns to go on the road to traditionally a really great environment in the swamp, but right now not a great football team, and get a quality win. This is one of those ones, if they do go win by 3, that's a great win. Go back to Austin and regroup for Red River. I like the Texas Longhorns as well, but I do like the under.
Blaine, if I'm not mistaken, if Arch goes down there and the offense plays well, this will be 2 straight years where a young quarterback on a team from Texas went down into the swamp. Because don't forget, last year, Marcel Reed had to be just kind of thrown out there like, hey, you got to go play. Yeah. And he did well, and that was kind of the coming out party for Marcel Reed of being the guy that he's turning into and trying to turn into. Does Florida win this game?
No.
You don't have Florida winning.
No.
So it's a Texas sweep.
Well,
or as we call that a McConaughey.
I can't wait for someone to make that graphic and see all of us pick Texas and Florida wins. That's going to be fantastic. But a couple things here when I look at this game. One, both offenses have been horrible this year. Everybody knows that, but you know who else knows that? Vegas knows that. This just feels like one of those games where Vegas wants you to take the under. They want you to take the under, but sooner or later, you would think with these 2 offenses, they're going to somewhat figure it out at some point. Then it comes to mind, so what do you trust more in this game? Both defenses have played well all year. If you trust DJ Lagway's talent more because you've seen it, but I just trust Sark more from a play calling standpoint.
That was my point.
From dressing the table, I think Sark does it a little bit better. I think both offenses come out and play a little bit better than they have all year. I like the over in this football game, especially if it gets down to 40.5. I do like Florida plus 7.5, but I think Texas feels like a 4-point win for me for Texas.
I've got 24-17.
Okay.
Texas.
I have the same thing.
24-17.
Okay,
what, you want to give me a score here, Connie?
I'll say 21-10 Texas.
Feels like I would go 24-21 Texas.
Okay, so that'd be 45, so the over would hit. All right, let's go to the second game. And this one, the spread's a little bit bigger, but with the way Mississippi State's been playing and the way A&M offensively looked, and again, Auburn's defense is really good. We've seen A&M go on the road to Notre Dame, who we can have that conversation about their defense and score points. We know with Concepcion and Marcel Reed and Mario Craver and Le'Veon Moss that A&M has some guys that can do it. But Mississippi State, who loses to Tennessee in overtime at home, or they'd be 5-0, after they beat Arizona State at home. Blaine, the line on this, is it still 14.5?
Yeah, right now it's sitting minus 14.5. Texas A&M. This game is at Texas A&M. The over/under sitting at 55.5. You want to talk about a little bang for your buck when it comes to money? Money line Mississippi State is plus 450.
How are you feeling? Let's start with you, Blaine.
I'm leaning Texas A&M. I think this spread's too high. I think a 2-touchdown spread over a team, Mississippi State, who just went wire to wire with Tennessee, who went wire to wire with Georgia and missed a field goal. People are still thinking maybe this is last year's Mississippi State team, but you have to give kudos to what Jeff Lebby's done in this amount of time. They're talented. Like they got the defense is somewhat good. They have a couple guys at receiver, and their quarterback play has been fantastic. I like A&M this game. The one thing that worries me about A&M, look, I know Auburn's defense has somewhat look good, but they're not that good. All right, I know Texas A&M defense looked great against Auburn. Auburn's offense is terrible. So what I do think points are getting scored in this game, it's going to come over turnovers and penalties to me.
You said the over's 55.5?
Over is 55.5. Texas A&M needs to play clean. You're not just going to go kick the ball in there and beat Mississippi State. Or you have to play good, clean, technical, fundamental football, which I think they do, but I do think Mississippi State covers.
I agree with that. You want to give me a score?
Give me 34-24 State.
I was going to say 34-23. Okay. I was going to say 34-23
A&M.
A&M, right? I was about to say, somebody will clip that.
Cover.
We've talked a little bit about how when you take over a program and you're the right guy and it's that first year and you're trying to get personnel in there, because it's not like Jeff Lebby took over a program that was on fire. It's not like, Kalen DeBoer coming in and having the cupboard full. He had to basically build the damn cupboard and then put things in it. But the jump in year 2 is what it's supposed to look like when you have the right guy who's implementing the right culture, getting his personnel in there. And you talk about playing clean. Mississippi State's done a good job of not beating themselves, kind of in the same vein as Vanderbilt does. If you're going to lose the game, they're going to let you lose it. But they also got some guys that can make some plays and score. I just defensively don't see, after the performance that A&M had against Auburn, being at home again and surviving that. Sometimes when your life flashes before your eyes a little bit, that preparation the next week is the best preparation you've had all year. I think A&M jumps out to a big lead, let's say 34-10, something like that. Mississippi State fights back in the second half. JD, I've got Texas A&M 34-23.
We're very close to a lot of these scores here we got.
Good, I like that.
That feels good. I think Mississippi State, to me, feels a little bit fugazi because the game against Tennessee, the offense scored a bunch, but a lot of those drives were super short fields for Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Other thing that worries me with State, they are second year into the Jeff Lebby culture, his way of doing things. I worry a little bit about the competitive stamina because you go and you have an emotional win over Arizona State. We're popping bottles. We're feeling good about ourselves. Then we played Tennessee, goes to overtime. And, I wonder at what point does the emotional well run dry? Now I need to go on the road. Got to go play in College Station. That place will be rocking. The war hymn be going crazy. Got the class rings going wild there in College Station. And so all of that, to me, makes the spot really tricky for Mississippi State. And I think on the opposite side of things, I love what A&M's done in their second year under Mike Elko. I think that they are as reliable of an A&M team as we've seen. Because if they were old A&M,
they'd have lost that game.
It would have gone. They would have lost.
Now they tried to Auburn. You can make an argument that Auburn just wanted to lose more.
Sure, yeah, it was a test of wills there. Who wanted
to
lose that game more? And so, I think for those reasons, I think it's a more mature A&M team, and that number scares me. Whenever I see a scary number, though, I'm like, okay, somebody in Las Vegas, Nevada, knows something that I'm not accounting for here, so I'm going to lean into the fear. I'm going to take A&M 35-20.
Okay.
Cover, win,
sneaky,
war him, all that, and Aggies win.
Let's put on the overalls and have some fun. David, as much personnel as Lebby has brought in there to try and add depth, Mississippi State is still not at the point from a depth standpoint where they can afford to be beat up and get away with it. I think you saw a little bit of that with Vanderbilt last year once a little bit of attrition started happening in the injury front. Obviously, their level of execution goes down. Now, Mississippi State's not just loaded up with injuries. I'm not saying that, but being beat up is a real thing. You can not be injured, but still be hurt. Do we start to see maybe some chinks in the armor from Mississippi State's depth, having to play kind of this murderer's row that we've seen now? Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're having a good year, but you get to go play a pissed-off A&M offense.
The nature of the Southeastern Conference.
Exactly right.
Man, there's so much to like about this Texas A&M team. Maybe the best wide receiver duo in the country. Marcel Reed delivering the football downfield so effectively from the pocket and on the run, and they'll be at home this weekend. But I don't want to sit here and talk about what a great job Jeff Lebby has done and how 2 touchdowns plus the hook on the spread is outrageous, and then still pick Texas A&M. I'm going to pick Mississippi State.
You're going Mississippi State.
On the road.
I love
like you talked about, beat Arizona State, and we said, okay, well, Arizona State's not the same without Scatterbo. We thought they might fall off in the Big 12. All they've done is beat Baylor and TCU back-to-back. Look like they're still not only a contender, but maybe still in the driver's seat in that conference. Played Tennessee to overtime. I just got done talking about how good I think this Tennessee team is. I don't think they've taken a step back like we thought they would. Mississippi State. Go on the road and get a signature win. I want to give them the respect that they are due, and I want to stop, just talking about how they've fallen off when Jeff Lebby has this program on the rise. So this is the type of win. Can you go on the road, beat a team like this, Texas A&M, who I think is still going to be in contention for maybe the conference title when it's all said and done the way they're playing.
So are we going to see Mississippi State maybe on your locks, leans, and then dogs at that
maybe
mark?
What'd you say the dog
plus 450.
Plus 450.
That is a good
value
return on the old investment. All right, speaking of Big 12, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right, it can get you paid, playa. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. You need to make sure and check us out on social media to see our picks. They've got a ton of them. There's great lineups you can put together all across the spectrum of sports. So, Prize Picks really stepped up their game this season with some exciting new features that make daily fantasy way more engaging. One of the coolest additions is their new follow feature. You can now follow other players directly in their app, follow us, and copy their lineups with just one click. Whether it's a friend who's been crushing it all season, a celebrity partner like David Cohn, or someone whose lineups you just consistently like, you can hit that follow button and check out every lineup they have in the new feed tab. And if you're someone who wants to go all in on a player you're confident about, their new stacks feature lets you pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Plus, they got your back with injury reboots. One of your players gets hurt in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it against your lineup, which takes out some of those frustrating randomness that, we see every single time. With Prize Picks, you're the prize. Talked a little bit about Kansas State earlier. They're going on the road to play Baylor. Malfoy, what's the spread on this one?
1 second.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Actually, you're right.
Wait a second.
I don't know.
Hang on.
The dad. Blaine's the dad.
What game is this?
It's a Kansas State-Baylor game. I want to say Baylor's 5.5, 6.5.
Yeah, right now it's sitting minus 6.5 Baylor. Money's laying with Baylor. So that spread was probably going to go. Over-under is at 61.5. It opened at 61.5. Money line, Kansas State plus 200.
I'll go ahead and tell you this, and this is one of my favorite bets of the weekend, Baylor minus 6.5. Give me Baylor at home. I don't think Dave Aranda's going to play 2 high safeties that don't ever go into the box. Maybe ever again after what happened against Auburn. Now you're saying that's the worst game plan ever. It's not just that I think, a lot of Sawyer Robertson and Trigg and the pieces that Baylor has, Cole Wilson and those other guys. I just don't believe in Kansas State. I know they got a win last week. We can talk about the opponent and how it wasn't the most impressive. I just don't think Avery Johnson can consistently throw the ball against a Baylor defense that I know isn't great, but I think they're good enough to slow down Kansas State. I don't think the play calling's been very good either for K-State. I like Baylor, and I kind of like Baylor big in this one. I think they kind of pour it on in the second half. Give me Baylor 45, Kansas State 24. So it's a 69 number. Boy, that came out different than I thought it sounded in my head. But give me Baylor big in this one, JD. What do you like?
It's one of those where you wonder where Kansas State's at emotionally. Like, you have all these just embarrassing losses. You're going into October, and the season's not at all what you thought it would be in the preseason. We're all picking Kansas State to be like a Big 12 title contender. Avery Johnson, another year in the system. So all those things, and I'm like, man, you got to go to McLean Stadium. got to take the trip out to Waco, and Waco is just like a weird spot to go travel to, much less play a game out on the Brazos. So all those things combined with also a Baylor defense that, again, not great, pretty scrappy against ASU.
Yeah.
We saw a pulse. We saw something. And so if this becomes a thing where Baylor jumps on them early and it's 14-0, like I don't know what Kansas State has under the hood. How much do you want to play that game? How much can you play that game when Baylor's scoring like that? So I'll take Baylor to win, cover 31-14 on the Brazos.
David, again, if you're Baylor, you got to win this.
Have to have it.
Like this is a must win. I think you're going to get Sawyer's best punch on offense. Are you leaning Baylor, or are you going to go upset again?
I'm more than leaning, baby. We got to win. This was my horse to win the conference preseason.
Yeah.
Like, you're already behind the 8 ball with the loss to Arizona State. You're going to have to go on the road to TCU, and then you get Utah at home. Kansas State, the way you got to win this football game. And I think I like them more than the spread, too. There's so much to like about Baylor on offense, not just with Sawyer Robertson, but, I mean, Michael Trigg might be the best pass-catching tight end in the country.
He's an NFL player.
I mean, he's awesome. They have so many great pieces. Can they get it figured out on defense? I mean, I don't know how many times we have to talk about it. It just does not. It wasn't just like an execution thing against Auburn. It wasn't just Auburn has better players and they rush for 300 yards against you. It was mind-boggling, the plan that you came in with. Hopefully that's been addressed, but you got to go get this one if you want to stay in contention for the Big 12.
Blaine.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
To be honest, Baylor's defense is ass. I mean, how they only gave up 24 points against Arizona State, I'll never know. I'll never know. I mean, you gave up 27 points against Oklahoma State, and they can't read or write. I mean, the most they've ever scored is 27 points against UT Martin. Like, you gave up more points than Tulsa did. If there's ever a bet in this game, I'd take the over. 61.5, easy money. Baylor will win, it'll be 45-40. I mean, right now, Baylor, David Randa, look, the defensive guru, him and Hugh Freeze.
They're like Freaky Friday.
You can't be a guru and suck at what you're guruing, if that's a word. All right? You ranked 106 nationally and allowed on average 30 points a game. Good God. You ranked 108 nationally, giving up almost 400 total yards per game, and you ranked 114 in the country and points allowed per game. The ESPN SP Plus
Speaking about can't read
per game. It's just like it blows my mind, and I think Sawyer Robertson doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
Like from an NFL standpoint, Sawyer might be the most ready. He's 6'5", absolute cannon.
Works from the
great
pocket.
outside the pocket, can work in the pocket, has great feel in the pocket, knows when just to tuck it and damn run it. But the Baylor's defense, I would take the over in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas State won.
All right, so give me a score. You said 45?
Give me Baylor 45-40.
45-40.
Yeah, 85. The over-under.
Very, very interesting score. How about last week? We had the over. What game is it? We had the Arkansas Notre Dame. You put like $2,000 on it, and it was like 42 to what? 10 at half. So it was like 64.5. We're like, oh, this is a cruise.
Yeah,
all of a sudden
everybody
you get
was
the
so
third
surprised.
quarter.
Like, I can't believe Arkansas is giving up this many points. I'm like, have y'all watched them play football?
Yeah, no.
This year?
It wasn't that Arkansas gave up that many points. I believe that. It's that they only scored 13.
13, yeah.
That's the part that's crazy. Imagine doing that, and then you make the OC the interim head coach. What an interesting situation there in Arkansas. All right, so these did you have something you wanted to add?
I was going to say Baylor struggles with mobile quarterbacks. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Kevin Jennings, Jackson Arnold.
True.
Avery Johnson, I don't know.
Well, Jackson Arnold's really just a running back that can kind of throw it. All right, let's go to these last two, and these are the two what we think are the best matchups. And every time I look at this one, I just can't believe that this is in the top 5, and that it legitimately should be.
Yeah.
And it's Vanderbilt at Alabama. Now, Vandy's a what? 10.5-point dog?
It is a 10.5-point dog.
right.
I don't think this spread's really moved it.
What's the total?
The total is 56.5. Even Vandy money line's going off at plus 320. Okay,
Wait, so the
this game,
Mississippi State.
This game opened at minus 11.5 Bama.
Okay.
So it's gotten bet down a 1.5.
All right, David, I want to start with you. Can they do it again? Can they do it again? When they're looking them in the eyes, they know they're coming.
I mean,
You didn't send them through the hot gates.
Yeah.
Like, you found the goat path. Now we're looking at each other.
Can't hardly get that shield up, man.
He couldn't.
I
Should have let him in,
How many times can I keep being wrong about Vanderbilt? I mean, I was so impressed with what Diego Pavia did a year ago, and I was all in, despite the loss against Georgia State, but you're beating Alabama. And really not, you're following that up with wins against Auburn. So much of it didn't seem like just luck wins. It's like there was a swagger about them. But all the talking in the offseason, I said, hey, sell the stock now It was never going to be higher, right? The stock is going to plummet. Sell it now while you can. And all they've done so far is go undefeated with an impressive win over South Carolina. And even without Sellers going out of that game, I think they win. They won.
They dominated
or something like that. And this is an Alabama team who had another quarterback. Thomas Castellanos talked all this trash in the offseason, said all disrespect will be handled accordingly, and it wasn't. It wasn't. You let that guy beat you. Now I'm wondering, can Diego Pavia go into hostile territory and beat him for a second year in a row? But I'm going to take Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Alabama. I think Ty Simpson is delivering the football as well as anyone in the country. His accuracy is shocking me right now, the way that he can deliver the football on the move. Ryan Grubb is the Prince of Tuscaloosa right now with the game plan he called against Georgia. My only question is, we saw how Alabama handled adversity, bouncing back from the Florida State loss. Can they handle prosperity now and not let this happen 2 years in a row?
This just feels like, to me, because Alabama got fat shamed in week 1. Like, it's one thing to get made fun of because you said something stupid. It's another thing for the head cheerleader to point at you in the hallway and talk about how fat you are.
Look at Jelly Belly.
No, yeah, it's like, look, you'll never get with a girl. All right, and that's what you feel like happened to Alabama when we talk about the way they looked, the effort and stuff like that, and they come back and Ty Simpson is starting to look great, and they go and they beat Georgia. I just think, you talk about losing to Vandy last year and kind of the stain that was on the Alabama program post-Saban, because Bama was number 1 coming off a huge win at home against Georgia in that crazy game. So you have that in the back pocket, but I still think the things, including myself, and we were right to say it, about Alabama week 1 with the effort and the lack of discipline and the lackadaisical attitude, laughing as Florida State's kneeing the ball out. I think that has totally changed the dynamic in that locker room. Mm-hmm. I think Alabama's taken Vanderbilt as serious as a heart attack. Vandy's best chance to win is if Alabama beats themselves in this game still. I know the personnel's better. I don't see Alabama doing that. I think Vandy keeps this thing somewhat close because of their style of play and the way they don't make mistakes. But I think Alabama, in the end, is too much. Give me the Crimson Tide, 38-20. I think it's an 18-point win. I like Bama in this one, JD.
I think you're on the money when it comes to the spot for Vandy. Like last year, this game was 4:15 on the SEC network.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Vanderbilt had lost to Missouri and Georgia State. This year, they 70-piece Georgia State did Vanderbilt. And so it's weird because Vanderbilt from last year to this year, like Vanderbilt's a better football team than they were a year ago.
I agree with that.
And they beat Alabama a year ago. But just what you said of the fact that Alabama tasted their own blood, got embarrassed, had everyone talking about them. And I think also the edge that Ty Simpson brings, I like the way that he operates, dude. Like, he's got a little bit of the, it factor's not the right way to say it. He's got a little bit of underdog to him, you know what I'm saying? Like, he plays the way that you would hope someone with his story would play. Had to wait his turn, could have gone to the portal, wasn't good enough. And now he gets his shot, and he's like hushing the folks in Athens.
Yeah.
He's getting the boys, like, he's got just this emotional temperature that I think the team seems to feed off of, and I think he has elevated that since the Florida State loss. And so for all those reasons, I like Alabama to not have this letdown they had a year ago. The war on the perimeter when Vanderbilt has the football is going to decide the game for me, and I think Alabama will be physically up to the challenge.
Blaine, what's crazy is the more I watch Ty Simpson, to the point now where I'm starting to think he looks like him. You know who he looks like in college, not in the NFL, who he's starting to look like? He looks like Kirk Cousins at Michigan State to me. That's who he
reminds me of Jake Coker.
Kind of plays. I think Ty's a little bit more mobile. But if you go back and watch Kirk Cousins highlight at Michigan State, I mean, he's moving around. There's a lot of similarities. And I'm looking at him talk to Ben before the game. Like, he is even starting to look like Kirk Cousins to me. I'm not saying he's going to go on to have that career, but just play style, prototype. He's kind of reminding me of him. Who do you like in this one? Give me a score.
It's close. It's close, especially after, Clark Lee's opened a school for gifted youngsters.
The mutant school.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just missing the wheelchair.
And his most gifted youngster, you want to talk about underdogs, is Diego Pavia. Yeah. You come from, what was it?
Mexico State.
New Mexico State to now you're just absolutely running people at Vanderbilt. I thought about this game, and one thing I love about this game is Vandy's not surprising anybody anymore. We all know what Vandy is, but I don't think Vandy cares, right? And I said this on the show the other day. Vandy will play you in Tuscaloosa, in Nick Saban's living room, in front of a frat house somewhere in Tuscaloosa. They don't care. They just want to go play ball. And I think identity matters in this game. And I still think there's just a little bit on Vandy's side of just not giving a shit, Right. And I do think Alabama will make a couple mistakes in this game. Anchor down, baby. I'm going Vanderbilt.
You're going Vanderbilt. So we got a Mississippi State and a Vanderbilt.
Yep. 31-28 Vanderbilt.
Walk-off field goal?
Walk-off field goal. Wow. Vanderbilt doubles them in time of possession.
I'm jealous of you for making that pick.
Yeah.
I can't join
That's
you
ballsy.
there,
Yeah.
but you making that pick, I'm like,
I'm telling you.
Frick, it
Well,
Sometimes he's
Clark
got
Lee,
Jon Snow it.
Clark Lee did say the other day, he got asked by a reporter, what do you think about the history between Vanderbilt and Alabama? And he looks at it, I thought his answer was great. He's like, I don't care about the history of Vanderbilt and Alabama. We're not worried about that. We're making our own history right now. It's like, God, that's a strong answer.
It'd be shocking.
That's a strong answer.
It'd be shocking on Saturday if they won, right? But then Sunday would roll around, we'd get to Monday and we'd be like, yeah, Diego Pavia's that guy.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Vandy goes in and beats Bama on the road. You got to put them at worst top 10. Right? Like, we're talking like top five.
You're top five.
And then it's Diego Pavia in the Heisman
And it's amazing. You want to talk about going from hero to zero so quick. Kalen DeBoer.
Well,
it's like Kalen. It's like literally like you're at the White House.
Yeah.
Right. Kalen DeBoer is at the White House. You get a bill right, it's fine for a week. Right. Next thing you do something politically wrong, there's protesters everywhere.
100%.
That's
if they beat Alabama on the road and they're not top 5 next week, it's just a clear indication of brand bias.
I don't know what the I guess brand bias is. I was gonna say college football elitism or classism.
Oh God, Tim Brando's about to freak out.
Yeah, I know. I could just feel Timmy B looking over my shoulder. But no, like that would be. It'd be great for people in the media. That'd be a fun reaction video.
Anchor down.
After, but
hey, always believe. All right, if they win, clip this, put it out everywhere.
Yeah, but if they don't win, don't clip any of it.
Clip it. Get out.
Kalen DeBoer would then be 2-2 versus Kirby Smart and Clark Lee. 2-0 versus Kirby. 0-2 versus. Can we imagine that? So all those things, I'm like, I can't see that happening. But if it did, it'd be the most college football thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a middle ground between Lane Kiffin and James Franklin.
Shutter Island.
All right, the last one, and boys, it's a big one. I don't care what happened against Virginia. Which you speaking about Vegas, we were looking at that spread last week, and we're like 7. How was Virginia just a 7-point dog? Well, they ended up winning outright. Vegas actually didn't give them enough credit. Miami goes down to Florida State. And JD, as the special guest, I want you to lead this one off. First off, I'm so glad this matchup means something now. It's great for the sport because it's one of the best rivalries we have. Miami, we've talked about, since the season started, has looked like probably the most complete team in college football in all 3 phases. Florida State, after losing to Virginia, you want to stay in the ACC race, you lose this one, it's going to get weird down the stretch when you look at who Georgia Tech has as well. Where are you leaning on this one? But give me the numbers.
All right, the spread opened at -6.5 Miami. Right now, it is currently sitting at -4.5 Miami, with money still leaning to Florida State. The over/under is 53.5. Florida State money line going off at +160.
Y'all won't bet it down to 2.5. Y'all won't bet it down to 2.5. JD, your thoughts, complaints,
that line
suggestions?
Submarining is
I know.
a little bit ominous.
Yeah,
staring us down.
What's the weather be like?
So we've all been in buildings, and when it comes to the world of college football. And I'm thinking what that building would have been like if Florida State finds a way in overtime, gets out of Charlottesville with a win. It's like, okay, we're undefeated, job finished, we're still good. So you watch the tape the next day, and you kind of have these rose-colored lenses as you watch it and say, okay, like that wasn't great. We're undefeated, boys. You got game day coming to town. Like we're back, right? We're back. The fact that they lost you would hope, create a little bit of like, hey, we got to figure this out. Like, that wasn't good enough, and we got Miami coming to our place and a rival. Like, boys, we got the sense of urgency for Florida State. So I think they're actually, in a weird way, more dangerous after the loss to Virginia.
Oh, I agree with that.
They found a way to get it done. But the thing is, man, like Miami's been a lot of things over the last decade. They've been fun with Cam Ward. They've been interesting with Tyler Van Dyke. They are the most adult, mature, dependable version of Miami that I think we've seen in the last decade plus. Yeah, like, I like Carson Beck and what he brings to the offense. I like his scars, dude. I said on our show, like, the fact that he was the man at Georgia, he's perceived #1 overall pick, has a terrible, by his standards, year, goes and ties the lead for the SEC in interceptions the following year. Everyone's talking about Carson Beck, this and that. He's not all that. Goes to Miami. Like, to me, he has a certain Will Howard battle-tested quality that's going to serve him well in this spot and the rest of the season. So, for all those reasons, violence travels. Miami's violent. I think they win the game. I think they cover.
Yeah. Blaine, Miami, Florida State.
Oh, it's just the one thing I worry about when it comes.
Speak the word.
One thing I worry about when it comes to this game, like, has Miami seen a quarterback like this? A true dual threat quarterback.
Hey, CJ Carr had more carries than
I'm not
Jeremiah
talking about
Love,
Bryce.
okay?
I'm not talking about Brown from USF who can't throw it from me to Jake. Right?
Yeah.
He can tote it for sure. But you're facing a true dual threat guy in Tommy Castellanos. But the one thing I will always lean on, and if there's anything you can take from that Virginia win, right, is Virginia didn't get cute. Yeah. They didn't get fancy. They just ran outside zone the entire game. The entire game and pounded you and pounded you and pounded you. And look, Florida State's going to get up for this football game. All right, the rivalry, it means something. But is that going to be the same feel when there's 6 minutes left in the third quarter and Miami's just been turning around and handing that off for 3 quarters, right? That's the real question. I think Miami's a tougher team. I think they're better up front on both sides of the ball, and I trust Miami's secondary this year. And I love what you said, that you love Carson Beck's scars. It's not even the injury stuff, right? It was the off-the-field stuff. My Lambo got stolen. I'm dating one of the Cavender twins. There's just a lot of noise coming out of Miami, and it wasn't about football, and that's what was somewhat worrisome and frustrating. But they figured it out. Miami knows who they are. I still think Florida State's figuring it out. Look, Gus Malzahn, he's going to have some plays on offense. The Gus Bus always does. You're going to see some trick plays, some orbit motions, some eye candy. But Miami, I think Bain right now is the best player in college football coming off the edge. I really do. I think he's going to be...
He's born in the dark.
Absolutely. He stays in the shadows, but comes out when the moment's the brightest. Give me Miami. I also like them to cover. I'm going 34-24 Miami.
David Cohn, not many people know you grew up a Florida State fan.
My parents met at Florida State.
That's hot.
So if it weren't for Florida State, I might not be here. But yes, from South Georgia. And it was so much fun falling in love with college football at a time when this game dictated a lot of times who was going to play in the national championship. Remember all the wide rights and all the wide lefts. I'm so glad that we're back to that point now. And I do think, look, Miami is the most complete, and I'd say you can pick Miami here confidently in this matchup. But not only that, but they may be the most complete team in the country. We've been talking about that. Like, are they the best team right now around all of college football? The way that the front seven and the way that they've changed this defense from a year ago is so impressive. And I'm proud of Carson Beck, man, because not only bouncing back from injury, but just the way he left Georgia, I really didn't believe in his ability to go to Miami and like be the leader around the country from the quarterback position. He really has done that. So I'm proud of the way that he has responded. There's 3 things that I'm really wondering, though, in this game that could be working against Miami. One, Florida State's going to have the home field advantage. As you guys know in this sport, that means a lot. We haven't seen Miami leave Dade County yet. Okay, we haven't seen them leave Dade County yet. And I watched Florida State beat Alabama and Doak Campbell, who we're talking about now. It maybe has worked their way back to being a top 5 team. How much is that going to matter? 2, sounds like there's supposed to be some bad weather this weekend in Tallahassee. Miami fans could argue that benefits them with the way they want to ground and pound and get Bain and some of the guys in their front seven to benefit them. Honestly, Florida State fans could say the same thing, the way Gus Malzahn wants to call his offense. Rush for over 250 yards. Let's stick to the ground and beat Miami in the elements of the weather. And then the third thing is what you were saying. Florida State's not only coming off of a regular season loss, you're coming off of an ACC loss. Like, your back is against the wall. You need to stay in this because you still have to go on the road and play Clemson. You still have some tough games ahead in a way that Miami's schedule, I think, works out a little bit more favorably. I'm going to take Florida State right now at home, and let's just see if Miami can go on the road for the first time this year, get a big win, and come back and be the team that we're thinking they could be, or can Florida State rebound and get a big win?
Talk your stuff.
Yeah,
come on, Cody. Stuff, dude.
The weather is a big deal. It's a big deal, but I still think, to your point, David, that both of these offenses can move the ball even with bad weather, because both of these offenses, even with Carson Beck, and we've seen Deuce Robinson make plays for Florida State, they are run-to-pass teams. They want to run the ball first to open up the pass and then be able to work with being unpredictable and typically predictable downs. And it's a great point you make, David, about going on the road. The good news for Miami is, they haven't been out of Dade County, but they really haven't got to go that far. Not like you're going to play Washington, but it is on the road in an unbelievably hostile environment. And when I'm looking at who I think is going to win this game, and we talk about Carson Beck and this resurgence, well, Carson Beck has 2 things that he didn't have last year. He's got a run game to help him out, because he's not a mobile guy that can be his own run game. And because he has a run game, his pass pro is a little bit better. And they're not really a one-trick pony. One of the biggest knocks against Georgia last year was the offensive line struggling. not being able to run the ball. And Carson just can't exist, and most quarterbacks can't, in a world in which you're not somewhat balanced or at least have the threat of doing both offensively. I always go back to the line of scrimmage where I think this game will be decided. Each side will make plays, but the two similarities that Bane from Batman and Bane from Miami have is when you see them on a football field, they're blowing that son of a gun up.
Yeah.
That's what they both do. And I love the physicality. I love the schematical change of Miami's defense. And I think at the end of the day, if it turns into which team can line up and run the ball consistently in bad weather, whether it's 3rd and 2 or whether it's 3rd and 6, whether it's in the red zone at midfield or in their own territory, I think it's Miami. I actually like Miami to win by a field goal. Give me 27-24 Miami, but Florida State misses a field goal.
No.
To tie it at the end.
Oh.
Wide left.
Okay, so I have to go.
Wide left.
If I'm taking Florida State, I have to go by winning by a field
Yeah,
goal.
there it
30 to 27. Get the wide left, wide right stigma out of here. Get it out.
And again, God, I just hope it's a great game. I hope we get a great game. From
It's great we're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for college football, and so that's the slate. There's some others out there that are interesting, but those were kind of the 5 we landed on. But before we go, just JD, overall this football season so far, the parity from coast to coast, from top to bottom is wild. What have you thought so far? What are your impressions? Are we embarking on the best season we've had in a while in college football because so many teams are still in it?
By that logic, yes, 100%. Because I was always the guy saying there's never been definitely not more than 4 teams that can win a national championship every single year. And that's been my take.
And that's been right. I think that's been right.
Oh, I feel very validated.
Cones, we've been saying the same thing.
I mean, we watched the TCU Georgia game. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not more than 4 teams.
Yeah.
But we go to this year, and Texas Tech, I think, looks incredible. I think they can win a national championship.
I agree.
If they catch their stride. I think you have 4 teams in the Big Ten. I think you got a bunch in the. So, we did an exercise on our show today. I think there's 13 teams right now that I could legitimately see winning a national championship. Now, a couple got some warts. Like, a couple of those teams got to figure out the quarterback spot, but because of how wide open it is, it's just fun for us as fans. Like, every single weekend, it's just madness. It's like everything that is dramatic and fun about college football has been ramped up due to all the changes in the sport, from the playoff structure, the portal, NIL. And so, to answer your question, the season's been awesome, and by that metric of most teams in it, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I just like not knowing the end of the book. I really don't read books. I don't like knowing the end of the movie. When I first started off, like I like there to be some drama. What's your pushback?
You're 100% right. It just sucks to not have a villain in college football.
You still got villains.
Who's not, like you said, like Nick Saban was the villain.
Aren't you always posting that Diego Pavia is the greatest threat to world peace?
Yeah, but there's different with a villain and a terrorist, David. Those are 2 different things.
Is there? What's the difference?
I don't know.
Explain it to me.
I don't know. I think like Al-Qaeda sucks.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, it's just I'd have to whip up my Urban Dictionary to really find out. I don't know if you have time left in the show to get to it, to be honest. It's just like everybody used to be able to root against Nick Saban. Collectively, we all want Nick Saban to lose. Right? And it doesn't matter who beat him. We'd all just sit there and, right? We'd parade in the streets. Nobody's out there anymore. Nobody
feel that way about Ryan Day?
No. Ryan Day, I mean, he might have a nipple piercing, but that doesn't mean everybody hates him. Okay? It's just like there's not that villain in college football this year.
It was a photoshopped picture of Ryan Day.
Yeah.
But quickly, though, just around the room, if I told you that one college football coach actually has a nipple piercing, who would you guess it would be?
Clark Lee.
JD,
I don't know why my response
You had to
was
pick
so
one.
quick.
If you want to answer, because I've got one and I think I'm right.
I think it's Eli Drinkwitz.
That's like low. You're a freak.
David,
I already know who it is. It is Ryan Day, and that was CIA leaked information that was photoshopped. When in reality, that just represented what is true.
I think there's 2 guys. One of them you're gonna be like, oh, that's obvious. The other one,
I know one you're gonna say.
What?
Lane Kiffin.
No,
Really?
I was gonna say Dillingham from Arizona State.
No.
And then the second one,
got it in college.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Kept it just because.
For sure,
I don't know. My wife
it was
doesn't hate
on a bet. But the second one, Dave Aranda.
I thought about
Because
saying
you
Baylor,
never
bro.
know. You never know. It's the quiet ones you got to worry about. But all right, let us know in the comments, who are you picking with the 5 games? Give us your biggest upset of the week. And again, if you're not subscribed, I mean, what are you doing? Come on, let's get together in the trust tree and try and win some money. Make sure you're locked in. Go check out all the previews we have. We got our power rankings. We picked the best team and the worst team from each conference in the Power 4 with Tom Luganville yesterday. So make sure you check that out. And like the chances, I mean, not just hoping that Wednesday can leave so we can get some football on Thursday. Just hurry up. Again, we appreciate you. Without you, there is no us. We're going. Gone.